to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, the threat of severe storms could continue right through the holiday weekend. It is a first alert weather day, and meteorologist Evan Hatter is here with more on what to expect this evening. Evan?
That's right, Steve. It's one of these hard to predict thunderstorm complexes working through parts of the Midwest now, and it's going to try to work into parts of Kentucky into the evening hours. The question is, how long does it hold together? Our first alert weather day does indeed continue as we head through tonight, tomorrow, and even into the day on Saturday as we watch for the potential for more of these strong to severe storm complexes. Main threat, no matter what, is going to be the potential for damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. It's a much lower threat for damaging wind, or excuse me, for hail, even small hail, or even an isolated tornado. It's never zero, though. Part of the area, the Cumberland Valley, in the level 2 slight risk today, everybody else in the level 1 marginal risk, but everybody is in that level 2 slight risk for Friday and on Saturday as we continue to watch that potential. Now, we had some showers earlier in the Cumberland Valley, but those have mostly stayed at bay. That changes. There you see those storms move through the Bowling Green area. They had a tornado warning at one point, now one near the land between the lakes. But the big complex continues to roll across southern Indiana. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, the potential for 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts with those. The potential, we just got an update from the Storm Prediction Center. The potential is there to see that watch extended that you see there in southern Indiana, but still quite a ways to go. We're just going to have to watch as that tries to move in. Areas in the Cumberland Valley, they're cooler. They saw the rain earlier today, low to mid-80s as we head into the Big Sandy, as they've seen a little bit more sunshine. Those dew points are juicy into the upper 60s and low 70s, so we have plenty of the ingredients for severe weather. So the next 12 hours will be in the middle and upper 80s at times as we watch those storms move in. I'll have the very latest on when we could see the thunderstorm activity increase for the next couple of days in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. United States Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg made a stop in the city of Jackson this morning. He was highlighting the $21 million in grant funding for the Panbow Lake Corridor project. Buttigieg met with local officials and community members during the stop. He says it was important for him to hear from Eastern Kentuckians himself after all they've been through the past couple of years.
Well, I really want to be on the ground, be with folks who are going to be affected by this work and understand a little more about this community's story. My first impression immediately is one of a community that has supported one another through really tough times.
The project includes widening Kentucky 15 and adding a sidewalk path along the highway, as well as other improvements. WYMT's Olivia Calfee will have much more tonight at 6. Following last year's flood, several eastern Kentucky families were placed in temporary housing units by FEMA. Today, one Breathitt County family will have the chance to call the unit they've been occupying their forever home. Ashley Fallon of Breathitt County is the first person to buy one of FEMA's temporary housing units. Fallon and her kids have been living in the home for the past year.
To me, it's the one thing that I can give them that they know is permanent. And being able to purchase today's unit gives them a forever home that 6 months ago we were homeless. So it's something I can give them to carry on with.
To be eligible to purchase one of FEMA's temporary housing units, you must already be an occupant of one and lack a permanent housing solution. WYMT's Alyssa Williams will have more on this also tonight at 6. Big decision today from the U.S. Supreme Court. They say the use of race in the admissions process at colleges violates the Constitution. In its ruling, the court ruled the race-conscious admission policies of Harvard and the University of North Carolina violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Now, the president proposes what he sees as a fix.
What I propose for consideration is a new standard, where colleges take into account the adversity a student has overcome when selecting among qualified applicants. Let's be clear. Under this new standard, just as was true under the earlier standard, students first have to be qualified applicants.
The court ruled 6-3 in the UNC case. It ruled 6-2 in the Harvard case. A 14-year-old is arrested and facing charges after what police are calling an accidental shooting at a day camp in Knoxville, Tennessee. A 10-year-old boy was hospitalized with injuries. Sam Luther reports.
43 kids started their day here at the Phyllis Wheatley Center for day camp, a place parents rely on.
The Y is the place to be for the kids. And they get 3 meals a day.
But right when the day started, 14-year-old intern China Mobley knew something was wrong.
It was sad, like it was something I never saw before, so it really shook me.
Mobley oversees a handful of kids every day. She quickly learned that one of those kids had been shot in what Knoxville police calls an accidental shooting. We're not saying the child's name for privacy reasons, but it's someone this camp worker knew well.
He's a really cool kid. He always wore his glasses. Every time he lost them, he would make sure that, wait, where's my glasses? I need help, I need help. So I would always make sure he had his glasses on so he would know what was going on.
KPD says this child was shot at least one time after a gun was accidentally fired inside the backpack of a 14-year-old. Police say there were 2 handguns in the backpack, as that teen now faces multiple charges. Mobley says that 14-year-old was a fellow intern at the camp, and her attention now turns to the condition of the 10-year-old who was in her care every day this summer.
He was a nice kid. I loved being around him. He always made jokes, made me laugh, and everybody liked him.
Parents hoping this can be an opportunity to keep their kids safer, hoping nobody feels the need to bring a gun around children.
You know, check their phones, check their social media, check their friends, hold them accountable. It's discipline your kids, and just show them that you love them.
That was Sam Luther from our sister station WVLT reporting. No other injuries were reported in that shooting. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hosted former Vice President Mike Pence at the presidential palace in Kyiv today. During that surprise visit, Pence told him that his resolve was stronger than ever to support them after Russia's invasion.
For my part, we'll continue to do everything in our power to make sure that we provide the Ukrainian military with the support they need until they repel the Russian invasion and restore the sovereignty of this country.
In March of last year, Pence went to the Ukrainian border and met with refugees displaced from their homes while escaping the violence. Both trips were organized by an American disaster relief charity. Russian state television showed President Vladimir Putin meeting a crowd of well-wishers last night. The moment came days after his authority was shaken by a failed mutiny. The leader of the uprising halted what he called a march of justice within 160 miles of the Russian capital after intervention by the Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko. Around 150 people have been arrested in France as protests broke out for a second night over the fatal police shooting of a teenager. French President Emmanuel Macron called a meeting of the Interministerial Crisis Unit this morning. It comes after thousands of police officers were dispatched across France yesterday to control crowds during a second night of protests. Cars were overturned and set on fire. The British royal household released its annual financial statement today. It revealed official spending for the fiscal years 2022 and 23 exceeded the sovereign grant and other royal earned income. The royals are blaming the period of transition in the royal household in the past year. Royal fans often argue the monarchy offers good value to British taxpayers because it boosts tourism.